The John Wilkins Show is brought to you by Diamond Tank Rental Incorporated, Electric Service and Supply Incorporated, H&S Valves, Huddleston Equipment, Ignition Sales and Service Incorporated, Dale Leverett, Lubrication Service, Leskey's Western Store Incorporated, Melton Reynolds Insurance, Louis Montgomery Trucking Company, Murphy and Rochester Incorporated Real Estate and Insurance, Odessa Builders, Odessa Downtown Lions Club, Odessa Nut and Bolt, Odessa Savings Association, David C. Baum, President, Permian Bank and Trust, and Permian Rat Hole.
Even though there wasn't much scoring in the first half, there was a lot of activity. And Bob, did the defense have any problem? Because you had to control 3 different backs and you didn't know which way they were going.
Oh, well, they were in the wishbone, and we'd faced the wishbone against Midland-Lee. But Trinity, they ran more split plays, and they had us off balance most of the game because they'd run a belly and then bring it out with the option, and they'd come back with the split play. And as much as we swarmed to the ball, they'd catch a crease in us and bust it for 6, 7, 8 yards.
You guys had a great year defensively, a lot of shutouts, didn't give up about an average of 5 points a game. It's something I'm sure you're all proud of on the defense.
Yeah, we pride ourselves in being together as a family, play as a team out there. When somebody gets down, makes a bad play, we try to pick them up. I think, it just shows the team concept of the game.
Here with the sack, quarterback.
I thought we did an excellent job stopping what they've been doing. Jeff, of course, Fitch has been the person who's been killing people on the belly keep outside. We did an excellent job of stopping him, I thought. And of course, we did an excellent job on their tight end also. Zartman, I don't think he caught but 1 pass, and that was 7 seconds to go in the half. There's the turnover, first turnover, and I believe this comes up. Anthony Miller recovered the fumble. Miller had a good game for us defensively yesterday, made some big plays. Big fumble recovery right there.
Yeah, it looks like you might start a drive here as you pick up some yards on the ground.
Right, this is Mike driving down a little sweep to run down to about the 23-yard line, and we're fixing to come in. And
this is the 4th and 1.
Right, this is a big play right here. I'm not sure what happened because I haven't even seen the film, but we don't make it, and that's a crucial play right there because we come up.
The momentum shifted after that?
Well, I don't know that it shifted necessarily, but I think it definitely was a big play in the game.
Metcalf gets a nice return after this punt.
Right, that's Keith, and I thought he was going to go all the way. I think the guy just barely does get hold of him. Of course, the game is a game of inches, and that was a good example right there.
And that wraps up the first quarter with no score. This is second quarter action. Laird makes a sack.
Right, this James Laird, of course, put good pressure on about a 5-yard loss right there.
And this is the start of your drive, but Kelly's pass picked off.
Right, well, this is first play. He was open early, and Brent just read him a little late, threw the ball out in the flat, and the youngster made a nice intercept.
And Miller's second fumble recovery.
The ball was on loose on the ground, scrambling around. We made some big plays defensively, really. And of course, we say we couldn't get the ball away from them, and it comes down to, you really have to score more than 7 points in order to win. I think, if your own team only scores 8 points, then you ought to be able to, win, but it didn't happen that way yesterday for us.
And there you hold them on 4th and...
Nice opening in the middle for a trap on Billy Rogers. Billy makes a nice run. This is a real key play. A little pass back underneath to Roger Turner. Roger makes a nice reception, a nice run all the way down to about the 1-yard line, or half-yard line, really. And Billy Rogers cracks it in. This was only about, 30 seconds, 25 seconds to go in the half. Very critical play for us. Bobby converts the extra point, and it's 7-0 at halftime.
You think it was kind of interesting. Drives previous to that, you had a little trouble going on it, but once you got going in kind of a 2-minute offense, it seemed to throw them a loop a little bit, and you were able to drive on them a little bit.
Well, like I said, they just kind of turned out that way, really. The youngsters did a good job from that standpoint. Done a good job all year long from that standpoint, I thought. And looking back on the thing, of course, again, the 4th down play down there was a very critical play at the time. And, you never know when you go back over the game, as to what play is going to make the difference. And that was, if we could have made the first down there, of course, that's lots one of those ifs. If you could have, it could have been a big play for us, and might have led to at least perhaps, if nothing else, a field goal, which could have ended up being the difference in the ball game. But you got to give Trinity credit; they played well defensively, and of course, they're the ones that are playing next week. We're not.
Bobby, what was the players feeling at halftime? I mean, you're ahead 7-0. Did you feel that Trinity might have been the best team you had played so far, even though you had a lot of turnovers and you've been able to take advantage of that somewhat?
I don't know, not really. We felt like we should be at least 2 touchdowns, maybe 3 touchdowns ahead of them at the half. You know, we felt like we'd come out the second half and control them, like we have all the other teams all year. You know, I felt like OHS was probably the best team up till now that we'd played when we were behind, and it was just a different feeling in locker room. You know, let's try to get ahead in the second half.
And Coach, before we went in the second half, did you notice between halftime and third quarter a change in what Riddell did with his offense plays? Because it seemed like he'd shut him down pretty well in the first half, and then second half they started playing ball control.
Well, I don't think they really made any changes as far as what they've been doing. I think they did go with their quarterback. I mean, their fullback up the middle a little bit more than what they had been doing in the first half. But other than that, they basically stayed with what they've been doing. And like I said, we did a good job of shutting off the things that they had been beating people with. And you've got to give Trinity credit from that standpoint. You know, they had been relying upon stitch off tackles or outside the tackle, really. And Zart been catching the football, and we shut those down. And they proved that they had more than those weapons because they were able to hurt us, and obviously with Lindsey. I guess it was a little trap. I hadn't even seen the films. I'm not sure exactly what they were doing, but some kind of little trap up the middle on us. Trinity really did do a good job, and we just weren't able to handle him there in the middle, and he made some key runs on us.
How about the field, Bobby? Because I know it had rained there the previous couple of days. Did you have any traction problems at all?
No, not really. They had the tarp on it before the game, you know, in the 2 days before the game. We were going to work out Friday there, but instead we went to Highland Park, you know, so they could keep the field as dry as possible. When we got out there, it was just like it wasn't even wet at all. It wasn't slippery or anything.
Well, we'll come back and take a look at the third quarter and the exciting finale after this.
The John Wilkins Show is brought to you by Permian Tractor Sales Incorporated, Precision Pump and Compressor, Bill Ray Insurance Associates Incorporated, Bill Sears Supermarket, Sewell Ford, Southwest Energy Distributor, Stockton Packer, Swindell Welding and Equipment, Texway Construction Company Incorporated, Clint Wright, Tilly Weaver Agency, Trip Petroleum, Waddell and Black Insurance Agency, White Travel Service, Sanderson Forklift Company, 3714 County Road West, Interfirst Bank, Odessa, Odessa Ready Mix Concrete Company, and State National Bank, a financial center for Odessa.